Question 5, another inverse function. Which function is the inverse of g of x equals fraction, the square root of 2x plus 5 on top and 3 on the bottom? And we're going to do this the same way as before. So we're going to switch the x and the y. And we're going to say x equals the fraction bar of the square root of 2y plus 5 over 3. And we want to solve this for y as well. So for our steps here, we're going to first multiply both sides by 3. That's going to cancel those out. And you'll have 3x equals the square root of 2y plus 5 all on top. No fraction bar anymore. So then we want to get rid of that square root next. So to get rid of that square root, we square. Square is the inverse operation of a square root. Be careful because you're not just squaring the x, you're squaring the 3 as well. So that'll cancel out the square root sign, and you'll have 3 squared, which is 9, and then x squared. 9x squared equals 2y plus 5. Then you're going to want to subtract both sides by 5. And that's going to give you 9x squared minus 5. And then finally, you can divide both sides by 2. Now, this inverse has a few different other qualifications. So you're going to notice we only have one answer choice here that gives you 9x squared minus 5 over 2. But what is going on with the four values of x greater than or equal to 0? Well, that has to do with the original graph. So we want to graph the original function to see what's going on with that. So I'm going to use y equals fraction bar, the square root. You can do SQRT, or you can go into this calculator. And you can see what that original graph looks like. Now remember, inverses are reflections over the line y equals x. But if I take this graph and I just call that x, that y x and that x y, you can see what the graph is supposed to look like. And if you put the line y equals x, you can see that split in the difference here. Now, if I graph 9x squared, let me do y equals fraction bar, 9x squared minus 5 over 2. That gives me more than what my inverse should be. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Let me cover this up here. These two do overlap, but the purple one, the answer only overlaps half of what I just got. And the reason that is because I only want it to look like this. So I'm only concerned about numbers in this case that are above 0, x values in this case. So any x value that is above 0 is going to be part of my inverse, not the ones below 0, because that doesn't match up with this part. This only has the top half of it. So we want to say in this case, for values of x greater than or equal to 0. And we can actually take our expression here after the fraction, and we can put curly brackets. It's right next to the p if you hold on the shift. And you can say x is greater than or equal to 0. So you can mimic what that's supposed to look like. So let me move that over a little bit. And you can see, let me hide these, that these two represent inverses of each other when you make that qualifier x is greater than or equal to 0.